Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Think if you asked 100 people, hey, would you like to be healthy or healthier? I don't think anybody would turn around and say, no, that's not me. I don't want to do that. We all know how important it is, especially for longevity, just feeling the best you can feel in this lifetime. And part of that is the healthy lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's things you got to do. But once you put them in place, many say it's easier once you kind of figure that out. He helps people figure that out. He's got a great wellness center down in Largo, Florida. And Creating Change is the name of his business. And that's what he's doing all the time, creating very positive changes. We're going to talk with Mark Hayward again about those healthy lifestyles. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
Very well. Very well. It's good to have you back with us today. This is just a piece of what you offer at this center. And we are going to center today on the health coaching that you offer, and that lays in with the healthy lifestyle that we all should adopt. So where should we begin with this today?
Well, the health coach is kind of umbrella service that I offer. I kind of implement it within all the other facets at the center, but it is a separate thing as well. It's a little bit of confusing to a lot of people. So I'll just basically outline it as best I can. The usual popular place you'll see a health coach is in the corporate setting. The corporation it's kind of a go-between between the health insurance companies and the corporation. They'll set up a contract with a coach that'll come in and it'll advise and work with their employees to get them on track to a healthy lifestyle. The idea is it's an incentive. Insurance give kickbacks because we're spending less money because people are getting less sick. They're not developing serious chronic illness, or they're getting themselves out of chronic conditions. But in my setting, let me just back up a minute and define a little bit what a health coach is. What we do basically is kind of a meeting would be set up to be four things. The first thing we do is assess. We do just a basic assessment. We take vital readings, right? And then we do what's called a HRA, a health risk assessment, where we take into account the lifestyle, the present lifestyle conditions they might be dealing with, family history. We basically come up with a health risk assessment. So where are you heading to? And that kind of gives us, it helps out with our goal settings. And then the plan is kind of the meat and the potatoes. What's the plan? Where's our goal and how do we make a plan to get there? And then the final thing is the follow-up, the accountability thing. And I like to call it a soft accountability. But basically what a health coach really does is it's a very, we lean very heavy on communication skills. Our most important job is to help the client identify obstacles that are keeping them from attaining their goals. Most people know what they need to do. We are trained and we know very specifically the points for a healthy lifestyle. So we have a little more depth to our information than the average person, but most people have a general idea of what they need to do and what to implement in their life to lead a healthy lifestyle, right? But it's that initial hump of creating a habit. And the study suggests that it takes about 6 months to be doing something on a regular basis, for it to become a habit. So 6 months seems like a drop in the bucket, but it's a long time for people to make changes, especially if they're radical changes to their lifestyle. So that's what a health coach does. That's really primarily our job, is to help them get through that initial hump. Once you get through that initial hump, it should be smooth sailings, and then it's kind of a maintenance, when things kind of fall off the rails a little bit, then, they reach back out to their health coach. But how do we do that is how we get the client to identify what's keeping them from maintaining that good, healthy habits. And then kind of getting them to flesh out a plan, because it's ultimately has to come from the client. There's a difference between, in the health coach world, there's a definition that we have to stand firm by. We're not advising, we're coaching. And I think that's a very important distinction. You know, you can get advice from anybody, right? You can advise yourself, and anybody down the street will want to advise you. But coaching is different. Coaching, it creates a more of an intrinsic development of a plan. When it comes from within, you're more likely to stick to it. It means more to you. You're a little more motivated. You're more inspired when it comes from within. And when you can figure out what's keeping you from this, when we can help you come up with the obstacles that are in your way, and then you're able to implement it in your own plan that we kind of help structure with you, that's where that seems to be the most beneficial and most effective way of getting people to make those critical lifestyle changes. So yeah, that's pretty much what a health coach does.
So the blocks that are up there for some of us, I'm going to go a little deeper here. Do you think that some people, well, just like you said, we all know we need to stay healthy. We all know that we should be exercising. I don't think, if you asked anybody, that would be a surprise. Oh, I had no idea I need to work out. I had no idea I have to stay active. But do you feel that some of us feel that we don't deserve it, or we feel guilty about taking care of ourselves, and then sometimes that holds us back? We may jump into a fitness program and then we ease back, but we don't even know why we're doing it. Do you think that's a block for some?
Wow, you really did go deep, Steve. Yes,
I lived it. That's why.
It is a very deep programming, self-worth. It's definitely there's quite often that's an obstacle, and getting to that understanding, that would be a really, I wouldn't say a typical, it may be slightly challenging client when I identify that. And part of what we do is asking very specific questions to pull things out.
Sure.
That we pull out. And that's a whole nother service, so to speak, to uncover that and process through that. And there's a good chance that it's just not affecting them, their inability to develop a healthy lifestyle. It's probably affecting every facet of their life.
Point.
So that's a very simple, but absolutely, people who suffer from a very low self-worth identity of themselves will sabotage a lot of things that are beneficial for them. And that's where I would hit them with the meditation, and, the developing of awareness. So
yeah,
that's kind of a nice example of where my health center, how I combining the different services, identifying what is needed, and then here, you know what? Let's do a little bit of this. Let's pepper in some of this, and so we can maybe process through that and get you to work through that. And this will be more effective. So, really,
and that's
really
what that's what makes you different. That you also have an understanding of the mind and how this all works. It's not just the physical aspect. I had a conversation just last night with somebody, and we were talking about getting back to the gym and how we kind of derailed there a little bit, and we both identified that we get in our head. Like, you could be working out, doing some sets. If you don't think about it and you just focus on the music and you're into it and you just keep going, yeah, this is great, it's all good. Then you start thinking about it, getting in your head. Well, I don't know if I could do another set. I don't know if and all that starts getting in the way, and then you leave 20 minutes later. and I lived it too. There was 5 years ago. I remember going to the gym. It's a brand new gym, beautiful. It's literally right next door to where I am here now. So convenient. There's no excuse. I would get on the treadmill, and about 15, 20 minutes later, I would start thinking, I really got to get to work. I mean, I got to make sure, things are good. Got to support my family, blah, 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 blah. And I would leave because I felt that I needed to focus on work instead of myself, and completely changed all of that. It's a process. for sure. But in my understanding, many of us, if not most of us, in some regard, have a feeling that we're not worthy of something, whatever it might be. I think if you run deeper, those things start coming out. And it just goes back to your childhood. Could be anything, any situation. Let's talk about the lifestyle itself. What should we be doing? What should we not be doing? Just some general things here that I think might surprise people.
Sure. Well, what I like to call the 5 pillars of healthy living is what you eat, what you drink, what you breathe, what you think, and what you food. So we'll hit those individually, and it's kind of tough to put it all in priority. We can make a judgment call on that, but like you mentioned earlier, there's no real separation between the body and mind. It just isn't. Everything is interchanged, right? So I think it's important for people to understand that it's always a package deal. There's no 1-2 thing that you can do and it's going to make everything good. You got to be accepting for everything that comes with that package, and you have to involve yourself with it on some level, right? And things can change. The priority can change. Things shift. The different needs shift at different times of the day. So even though the package is the same, sometimes you need a little more of this, sometimes you need a little less, but getting a little ahead of ourselves. So what you eat, we really want to be eating whole foods. We live in a world where there's so much manufacturing of our foods, and it's just, it's really unhealthy. So just a short story, whole food diet, organic, of course. There's so much pesticides out there. There's so much adulteration in our food. So your best chances are getting organic. Sorry, but it is. Even the organic ones are not totally clean. So what does that tell you? You want to get organic if you can. Growing your own food is a good idea. So that's food, right? Drinking, we want to be drinking plenty of water. We don't have to be gouging gallons of water, but we just don't want to not be drinking water. And you want your water to be clean. I live in Florida. Our tap water is really not good. You got to have a filtering system of some kind. Natural spring water is the best because it has all the natural elements in it, but that should be filtered too because of the contamination. So, and when it comes to drinking, it's more like what you shouldn't drink. Water is really, is our liquid. That's what we should be drinking. So anything on top of that, you got to really question and you got to be aware. What else am I drinking? We're talking sodas, alcohol, excessive coffee. You can really throw a whole health plan out with what you drink. People need to understand it. Read some labels when it comes to your food to become a very avid label reader. Know what you're putting in your body, because that's what's ultimately is going to make your body. That's the fuel for creating your cells. So that's pretty important stuff. Okay.
Can we dig in for on the food thing here? Because this changes. I always hear different things. Protein. How much daily protein should you be eating?
Yeah, that does keep changing. It does. I will just tell you this: protein is very important, right? It's the foundation for cell building. It's very important that we have protein, on a daily basis. I don't like to delve too much in how much because the studies keep changing, right? So if somebody says, please give me a number, this is what I take. I say a lot of studies or a lot of advisors out there will say your body weight in grams. That's a lot of protein. So let's say you weigh, 150 pounds, they're saying 150 grams of protein. Well, that's kind of on the low end. But the average person is 150 to 200 pounds, right? So that's up to 200 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein. So I like to say, I know, because there's studies out there to say too much protein is not good for you. It's all about finding that happy medium. So I just stress get protein. There's so many studies, there's no question it's important that we're eating good quality protein. You get that from a lot of good food sources, right? So generally, what I say is get at least half of your body weight in grams of protein a day.
Gotcha. Okay. That's still,
Okay?
I think that would shock a lot of us to hear, that amount.
Difficult to do. It's not difficult to do. I mean, there's
I
some high protein food, you know. I mean, good quality breast-fed meat, it's got a lot of protein. Eggs, it's a lot of protein.
Yeah.
Fish, a lot of protein. If you're
Yep.
vegetarian, you got to pound the nuts and the beans, if you're a vegetarian. Um, but it's not difficult to do. Of course, we have protein shakes too. Make sure you got a clean one. Those things can be all gummed up and cause all kinds of stuff. So
I
yeah.
I'm just at the point I need to buy more protein powder. So, most of them are whey protein powder. Do you feel that that's okay in moderation? If you're eating, a lot of dairy, if you have the whey protein powder, then you have cheese, then you have, another milk product, going to be too much. But in general, or would you say, yeah, whey protein powder? No, might want to try this instead. What are your thoughts?
There are some known benefits to whey. Personally, I don't. It's a dairy product. Dairy is high on the list of food sensitivities, so I don't recommend whey proteins to my clients. When you think of what whey is, it's kind of the waste that filters to the top when they're producing milk. It's some waste product, and they go, "Oh, what can we do with this?" And they started developing the market of whey proteins. So there are some benefits to it. It's a high level of protein, so you're getting a good bang for your buck. But personally, the fact that it's a dairy product, and I do eat dairy, I eat butter and cheese, but I try to limit that as much as possible. And sometimes I completely eliminate it just to kind of clean out. So there's so many other options out there that personally I do not.
Gotcha. Yeah. The reason I asked that was years ago, I was talking with somebody about, diets and things like that. And I'm big on protein. Even my friends make fun of me. Boy, it doesn't have enough protein in it, huh? I believe it's important, just like you said. And he looked at my diet. He goes, like, dude, you whey protein powder, then you're having yogurt, then you've got cheese going in one day. And I'm like, I didn't even realize how many dairy products I was consuming. So you gotta, this is why you're here. Things like that.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. So
we hit food, drink, think. Think is huge. The mind controls everything.
Yeah.
You can literally think your way to wellness, and vice versa. You can think your way to the hospital bed. Think your way to the hospital bed. So your thoughts and feelings are huge. So being able to manage that, being able to be a proficient mind manager is crucial for healthy living. Okay. We could talk about that for 3 hours.
Sure.
What's move? How you move? That's an umbrella term for basically physical activity. And because there's so many different choices there. And it's crucial that you're doing multiple different styles of physical activity. Weight, resistance training is high on the list. Some form of cardio, walking, jogging, bicycling, swimming is pretty important. Intensive workouts are very important, especially as we age. Making sure you're doing some high intensity movements, you're sweating. So there's different ways of moving, mobility work, stretching. So moving is, and how you move and how consistently you are moving. You for sure not moving is not on the healthy lifestyle list. So those are the, in my opinion, not just my opinion, the 5 pillars of healthy living.
Hey, I detect from you on the movement.
Steve, you left out. All right, you left one out.
Sure.
Air, breathe. Breathe. That is becoming more and more crucial. 50 years ago, what are you talking about? Breathe good air. Well, we just don't breathe good air anymore, especially indoor. So getting outside, getting some fresh air, people work in places that are just, air quality is terrible. Mold is a very bad issue that, we seem to be dealing with more and more. I'm here in Florida. You can't go anywhere without some mold flying around. So having some sort of air purifier, good quality air purifier in your indoors is important. Getting fresh, clean air is important. So what you breathe is crucial too. And not smoking, of course. Not breathing in smoke.
I've read things about breathing. In other like Asian cultures, they deep breathe all the time. It's a way of life. Children are taught that you need to breathe deeply. That's the way it is. Here in the United States, short breaths. If you just check yourself during the day, I find many times I'm not taking a deep breath. And oh my gosh, how great it feels after like 30 seconds. It's like literally a reset button.
Yeah, that's a whole nother area of breathing. Everything starts with the breath. It's the first thing we do and the last thing we do.
Interesting. Right?
It can lead to short, shallow breathing. Restrictive breathing leads to illnesses, no question. So deep breathing is important. Implementing breath work into your daily life, which is very simple to do. And all you need is a couple of minutes, 2 to 5 minutes of just stimulating your lungs and retraining your breathing patterns so that you're not that shallow chest restricted breathing. Sure. That kind of restriction interrupts flow and all kinds of things happen.
Love the 5 pillars. Never heard of that before, presented that way. Won't forget that. We'll share that. I mean, this is so fundamental and so important to just feeling great, having a great lifestyle. All part of the coaching that you offer. I would imagine that you could do that virtually by nature of what it is. How would somebody find you, Mark?
Phone number 727-519-8786. My website is creatingchangellc.com. Those are the best ways to get in touch with me.
Great having you here. Love your style. I really do. You're low key, but you're not. There's some out there that can really like push a little too hard. It's you provide the information. It's a 360 approach to all of it, and it's almost as if like we want to drink your Kool-Aid because it's so just the way you present it. Yeah, really good. And that's just a part of what you offer. creatingchangellc.com is the website, and appreciate talking with you today and through these podcasts, Mark.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself.
You too. We'll be right back. And stay healthy, everybody. I think that's the most important here. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.